Hello.
Hey.
How's it going, everybody? Hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday. Hope you're doing well, Taylor.
Oh, absolutely. It's been an incredible week. We've had so many shipments unblocked after working for sometimes months on these projects. They're getting ready to get on the road, which is always exciting.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining. Welcome to another um, Open Source Thursdays. I'm joined by Taylor from Distributate. If you were here last week, I'll give you the short version. Distributate is one of the, if not the largest grassroots organizations to help get humanitarian aid shipped.
Yes, largest logistics focused grassroots
Logistics
board
focused.
in Europe, maybe the world. The titles don't matter, the help does, but we're just glad to be in a position to do so much. And it's a heck of a lot of fun. Always new, interesting things to be working on. So.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, Taylor, if you don't mind, like I know because I've got the the background info, but like, could you please share us with some updates that you've got?
Totally, yeah. So lots of shipments unblocked. Like I said, we have about 100,000 t-shirts, notebooks, tote bags, and other items that'll be leaving the UK soon, which is absolutely amazing. Great kind of tail end of summer shipments. The one that we've been talking about consistently on the stream are these masks from an anonymous donor in Germany. There's 4.25 million of them, and we've been running this fundraiser on Launch Good in order to be like at least be able to accept them, ship them to our storage in Frankfurt, and store them there for 6 months. That gives us the time we need to kind of get these masks out across Europe, the US, and Lebanon. We've raised $13,000 so far, which is absolutely incredible. That's a huge amount for us. And we've been able to allocate 475,000 masks worth $1.3 million to Lebanon, which is super important right now. The fuel crisis in Lebanon means that even hospitals can't get diesel fuel for their backup generators. So forget any sort of hospital level support for COVID patients. We need to stop this at the source, right? Prevent transmission, period. We recently shipped 96,000 bars of soap there, and these masks that'll be arriving, we're so glad that we're able to respond to the situation there. So thanks for posting the link. Our crowdfunding platform is doing a contest. It's World Humanitarian Day today, and we can win up to $2,000 for the largest number of donors. So if anyone wants to on the stream, donate just $1 and help us get that count up. So we're in the running for the prize. Let's see what we can do together.
So it's about the number of donors, not the amount to win the contest.
Exactly. There's two halves, and being on grassroots, I don't think we can hit the amount, but we can certainly bring the people power, right?
Excellent. Yeah. No, definitely. And by the way, folks, if you want to get in touch, those of you who are in tech and want to get in touch with Taylor, highly encourage you to DM them on Twitter. Let me get that. Let me get that URL.
Totally. Yep. It's just at Distributed on Twitter. We've been getting a lot of questions recently about how folks can help with the situation in Afghanistan, and certainly love the outpouring of support. The grassroots community around the world is doing a lot to support people who are fleeing Afghanistan, either helping them find kind of legal access and visas and resettle them in countries. And of course, we're trying to support people who are getting out of the country, especially women and families who are at greater risk under Taliban rule. It's a very complex situation right now. It's a little bit too complicated. And what we always worry about in these situations is that getting folks out of a country that's undergoing war or other sort of disaster, that's just the first step in a very long journey for them. So I encourage everyone, if you want to support the people of Afghanistan, send us a message, do your research. There's lots of great people doing great work right now to support people in the country or who are immediately fleeing. But don't just do one thing and then forget about it. Even when the media is not focused on it anymore, these people, have months of integration work after they get resettled or years of travel to get to a safe country. And so that long-term focus is super important.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Taylor. And
Absolutely.
I think it's been I'm gonna say this here. It's been such an honor to be able to like at least collaborate with you and work on stuff together, and it's incredibly gratifying. And I think every little bit of help, every bit of help helps.
No, 100%. I mean, I'm super grateful for Codesy, like the sponsorship y'all are giving us and the ability to join you on this stream, get some help with the tech side of things. That really just allows us to do more, right? It's scaling it up. We know how to help people in these situations. Now the question is, how do we help people in every one of these situations as they unfold, and how do we get other people involved, right? That's really what the platforms that we're working on today, showing people how to get involved, showing people how to tap in with our shipments, and eventually getting them to organize their own through our platform will really just open this up. So it's really, if anybody can help out, if anybody can do good, then everyone can, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, thank you. Let's dive into what we are gonna do today. Is it fine with you if I drive today,
Oh,
Taylor?
please do. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Cool.
sounds great. You drive, I'll navigate, and we got some definitely going to need some help from the audience today. So y'all pay attention, get ready to make some recommendations, some product decisions. It's going to be an exciting stream.
Awesome. Yeah, because what we're gonna I hope everybody can see my screen, but just in case, I'm gonna make it just a touch bigger. That looks good. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be continuing to develop the distributeaid.org landing page. Last week, what we accomplished was to organize the shipments into a nice looking table. So what we have is this is the running website locally on Gitpod. If you're not familiar with it, it allows us to collaborate on Codebases Live, which is incredible. And so if we look at one of these, go for Greece. Greece was the one where I'm on the wrong branch.
Mm-hmm. Which branch are you on?
I think I'm on main.
Yeah. So I think it's still we're building off of the work that was done at the Global Liquid Mob Programming event almost a month ago now.
Ooh, how time flies.
I know, right?
Yeah, so we are running on that branch, so we just gotta check out that branch. And I believe we didn't have to update any packages. I could be wrong. Looks good. There we go.
There we go. Nice.
Excellent. Yeah, so what we've got here is our page for Greece. And what we did last week was display everything in a nice table and create categories for the 3 different types of shipments: those that are incoming to a region, those are outgoing from a region, and those that are an internal transfer, that is inside a region.
Exactly. And those internal transfers are super important. They let aid groups balance out aid. For example, you see islands such as Chios, Samos, Kos, and Lesbos all near the Turkish border. And if they have stuff, if the population changes, if people are brought from the islands back to Athens, then they might have extra aid. And so these internal transfers let groups collaborate locally and share aid with each other to respond to changing conditions and changing needs without having to send a much more expensive and time-consuming international shipment. It also helps them clear up their warehouse so that there's, that they don't need this item, but someone else does. They do need another item. They have the space for it.
Excellent. Yeah. Sorry, I just need to take care of one thing in the stream real quick.
All good. You take care of the stream. Do you want me to talk folks through the plan for the day here?
Sounds good.
Okay. So
Thank you.
as Ramon said last time, we filtered out shipments, removed some duplicates, and categorized them, which was super cool. Today, we want to work on some of the styling. So the first thing is we're going to be adding icons, and we want those icons to represent the different categories of shipments to show, which ones are entering the country, leaving the country, or within the country. And that's something that we'd love to turn the decision-making over to y'all. We have a library, so we can walk through installing a new icon library into a React project and getting that set up. And then we can choose the icons together and add them to the page. Maybe using Gatsby image or maybe just directly. I'm not sure the best approach. So we might need some technical help here as well. Depending on how far we get, something else that's cool that we could do, or possibly next time, maybe getting some totals, Ramon. Like we have the value total or the distance total. Could we sum those up and show an icon? Here's the total carbon emissions that we've produced by shipping aid to Greece. Let's make sure to offset that, right?
Brilliant. Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that a lot.
Cool.
All right. So before we started, Taylor, you gave me a suggestion for a icons package. But if anybody, as Taylor said, if anybody on the chat has an idea for a preferred one, like please feel free to chime in. We are all in this together, and happy to learn, of other people's icon packages that they like. So let's look at you recommended to me hero icons.
Yep, that's what Maxime is using on our platform code base. So what I like about these is that it's open source, MIT licensed, and it works natively with React, and it uses Tailwind styling. So it fits fairly well into our existing tech stack. I'm not a designer, so I can't really comment on the design of the icons themselves, but they seem pretty good to me. And this might be a good place to start. Yeah,
they look great.
Cool.
Perfect. So the first thing to do would be to integrate these icons as a package into the project.
Exactly. Yeah. Download a new library, probably, and we're using Yarn, right?
Yeah. Right. So I guess we can start here at the documentation for.
Exactly. Something else I just noticed here for our audience, these are SVG based icons, which is really great because that is an image format that'll scale. So we can make these as large or small as we want without losing image fidelity for the icons themselves. Now, sometimes if you make icons too small, oh, there we go, Maxime is on the chat. He's liking the hero icons. So if you make icons too small and there's too many different kind of little bits of them, it can be hard to read them. So you do still have to watch out for things like that. But in general, I like working with SVG icons because I don't have to worry about accidentally doubling them up in size, or if someone's on an iPhone with high resolution screens or things like that. They just kind of work as opposed to using images for icons or other types of icon formats.
That's excellent. And here's a suggestion from Maxime as well, who says that you can actually also just take the icons as is from the site. And if I understood correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong, that I can just, you can also copy paste JSX code directly from their site into your React code. Does that mean we don't need to install it? No, I guess we do, right?
Well, it's looking like possibly not. So it looks like it actually defines the SVG inline right there.
Wow.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Maxime says no installation needed.
Okay. Cool.
Do we want to try that first?
Let's try that first just to get them going. And then maybe we can talk about the pros and cons of installing it, even just for documentation purposes, like it's in that packages list, or keeping it flexible and just pulling in the icons that we're using. But number one, let's just get it working, right, and figure it out.
Brilliant.
Good deal.
Brilliant.
So we have 3 main icons right now. We want to represent these categories visually, showing shipments that are coming in from an international shipment, the internal transfers, and we don't have any outgoing shipments here, but maybe we can fake some data, or I could just log into Contentful and add an outgoing shipment. That might be the right way to go. So,
Sorry.
no worries.
Kind of lost you there for a second. My connection's not great. Could you repeat what you said, please?
Totally. I was just saying we have 3 icons to start off with that we need to choose. Want to add in the incoming, the internal transfer, and the outgoing. We don't have any outgoing shipments, but what I might do while you're working on getting those icons in there, I can go into Contentful and just add an outgoing shipment. We rebuild the site and it shows up, so we can actually have all 3 shipments there. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. I mean, as long as it doesn't mess up the data, or maybe we can find a region that has all 3.
Yep. We actually have a new shipment. We're sending 144,000 masks from Greece to the Serbian Red Cross. We just got that one funded. So I think that I can enter realistic data based on that upcoming one, and it should be fine.
And add it live. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. So let's have a look at our hero icon. So shall we start with go one at a time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe the incoming shipments. What would be good to represent? A truck or a shipping container or something like that that's coming into Greece.
Truck. Oh, there's a truck. Nice. Question is, oh wow. You can copy the SVG directly. That's the JSX. That's super impressive. Yeah, shall we try one of them?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll try this one first. So now we'll need to open up our file, which I believe was in source templates region page. Just gonna hide our terminal here and scroll down to where we were working last week, which was...
No, I can't see your screen right now, Ramon. Is that just me, or is that...
No, that is indeed me. I don't know why it stopped sharing my screen. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Technology, right? Like Murphy's Law kind of deal.
Right. Thank you. I completely missed that. Excuse me. Cool. So you're right. So sorry. Yes. So you couldn't see the truck either, right?
Nope. But that's okay.
My bad.
The truck looks great right now. I got it all there.
Yeah, excellent. So let's copy that. Bring it in here. So shipment.category. Right. So here we're displaying the category, which is a string.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question becomes, how do we... We would need to display some JSX for this.
Mm-hmm.
So for starters, I guess the easiest, the most straightforward thing to do, since we're only trying out one icon for now, is to just display that icon directly.
Yep, that would make sense. Can we get the SVG showing up on the page at all, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which... Hey!
Got trucks.
Nice. Right, so that would be one icon. Then we need one to have a sort of...
So maybe the truck is a good starting one to represent the type of shipment, and we might want to show a container or a ship. We can have different ways of getting the aid there. But what
Yeah.
we're really focused on right now is the directionality, right? Is this
Yeah.
stuff going into the country? Could we combine two icons and show a truck next to an arrow or something like that, right?
I
Which
think so.
indicates, yeah.
So, for example, let's say for one that's incoming, given that we have a lot of incoming ones, they have like an arrow pointing left.
Yeah.
Do we have a preference for arrow?
I like the kind of arrow narrow left or arrow left, just something simple for now.
Cool. So that would probably be coming after the truck. No, before? After.
Okay.
Okay, so they are on top of one another, which I guess makes sense because these are two separate SVGs.
What's they're displayed as a block right there. So we might want to
Yeah.
display them inline or inline block.
Ah, but that's only for one of them, my bad. Oh yeah, that
Okay.
looks great.
Sweet.
And we can use Tailwind to do this, right? Because it's a...
You should just be able to add the Tailwind class. I can look that up for you real quick.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Maxine might know it off the top of his head.
It's something like D inline or something, but that could be Bootstrap.
It's easy. It's just inline dash block as the class name.
Brilliant.
Nice. And probably not the TD, the SVGs, right?
Oh, right. Huh. Oh, and this should be the SVG should have class name, right?
Yep, quite possibly.
We're writing JSX.
So it might add some, those are Tailwind styles there, like the height and the width. So that might make those a little bit bigger there. Not sure if we need to adjust the rest of the properties or if that's just class name as kind of a special one there.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Right on.
Maxime Prop very correctly said, it looks like I copied the SVG code and not the JSX code. My bad. You are absolutely right. Let's, I'll just try that just in case.
This is great. This is what I love about, pair programming or ensemble programming is that we're working together. So it's not like a code review or something like, oh man, I made a bug. I have to go back later and fix it up or something. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, this is the right way to do it. We all learn together and we're on to the next thing.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Maxime. The inline block. There we go.
Nice.
And you commented that they were a bit too big?
No, I think they're fine. That's definitely legible to me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So we've done that. So now what we can do is I would assign a variable to have this JSX for each category.
Right on. And we have that function up top. So where we assign, instead of assigning a string, would it make sense to assign either like an object with the name and the JSX right there? Or since we're dealing with data and JSX, would it make sense to even extrapolate this out to a component at some point? And that would make it, we want to reuse these sorts of things in different parts of the code base. That would make that easier, kind of encapsulate that functionality.
I like that. Shall we do that as a step-by-step process?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think maybe first step, let's just modify our function to get the same results, and we can have different types of shipments show up. And then once that works, we can work on moving that function over to its own JSX component.
Perfect. So this will return JSX instead of a string.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So if it's an incoming one, that means that I can go back to our line here and restore our function call to show the shipment category.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm mistaken.
Nope, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
We need to copy the arrow. We copied one of the SVGs, I think.
Oh. Oh, you're absolutely right. Good catch. Oh, want to copy the SVG, want to copy the JSX. Perfect. I want these to be inline blocks. Perfect. Failed to it's I know what's up. Adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. So we want a JSX fragment. So what we can do is wrap this in one of these. Right.
Oh, that's interesting. You don't need to wrap it in a div or something like that?
No, so what this will do is do that wrapping, but instead of adding a div to the DOM, it adds nothing. It doesn't add. Oh, what
Okay.
what have I done? What have I done?
It's like a no-op function kind of thing.
From what I understand, yeah, which is pretty handy to have, because that way
Yeah,
we don't add exactly. So we don't add extra, extra complexity to the DOM. And there we go. Wait, gotta refresh first. There we go.
nice one. Okay, so that definitely works for the incoming shipments.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that we can just take the SVG without adding a package. That's pretty lightweight.
yeah, definitely helpful. I like these tools where there's so much tooling in the JavaScript ecosystem sometimes. It takes me longer to set all of that up and understand it rather than go code the thing I want to code, right? And so just being able to do what we need to do and start there. And then if we want to install it as a library or add complexity later on, we can.
Exactly.
Nice.
Brilliant. So what we can do next is, you know what I'm curious about, Taylor? How this looks like, what the accessibility of this is. Like if...
Right, because those are just icons. There's no area tags or anything. And even if they had default ones, it would say truck and arrow when we're combining these two into something that means a bit more. So maybe in that case, we do want to return a div to wrap these and have the accessibility information on that div to show that both icons are working together.
Good call. And you said you called it area something?
I feel like that's correct. This is definitely not my forte in web development, but very important to get right. So let's do a little bit of research together, or if anyone in the audience knows a bit more about accessibility than we do and wants to point us in the right direction here, now is your chance to shine.
Yes, please feel free to chime in, because I know how to set alt text for I know how to set alt text for images, but not for a div. So let's have a look. Aha! Maxime has a suggestion. CSS tricks accessible SVG icons. Can I copy paste that? Sorry, I didn't mean to hide your So let's see, csstricks.com, accessible SVG icons. So the icon is decorative. Isn't the icon? Here are those three possibilities. The icon is decorative, which in our case it's not because it's just the icon.
The icons look pretty, but they're not decorative. So
yeah. Here we go. This icon is unaccompanied by a visible text label and is a meaningful action trigger on its own. This tricky one. It's gotten better over time, but all you need for modern browsers is aha! So we add role img and then title, we put the label.
Maybe, but that says it's a meaningful action trigger. So these icons carry meaning, but we're not necessarily using them like button or something to trigger action. We're using them to represent text.
Yeah, right. But if it's the role of an image, then that's kind of what we're doing here, right? And is it meaningful?
Maybe. Let's keep reading. They might have something that also works here.
The icon is like, and the link is a meaningful action. What's important is that the link has good text. If the link has visible text, then the icon is decorative. If the SVG is the link, this is the action, I think. In a rather than an internal SVG link, then give it an accessible label like and an ARIA label. Oh, I think I've seen this for links. Or have a span class screen reader only text within the link and hidden SVG.
Interesting.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be, because what the tricky part about what we're doing is that we've got two icons that we want to represent as one.
So it seems like kind of a link with two icons in there and applying the accessibility on the link. The middle one wouldn't work as well because that's setting the role as an image and setting the title on each icon specifically. Yeah.
So for a screen reader, these devices that, or these functionalities that read out the DOM would say, for example, incoming shipment twice in a row, which is something that we wouldn't want to do. So it looks like maybe, can we add an ARIA label to a div?
I think so. Why don't you get that going, and let me take a look about ARIA labels specifically.
Sounds good. Because we'll also have to put ARIA hidden true on the SVGs, which shouldn't be a problem.
Right, because we just want it to read the label at that point. We don't need the screen reader to go through the SVGs.
Exactly. ARIA label, ARIA hidden true. So that looks good, but I've never actually tested this.
So I'm reading the Mozilla development docs, the MDM led docs for ARIA label. It says that use it in cases where a text label is not visible on the screen, which is definitely the case here. We're replacing that text label with the icons, right?
Yeah.
And then it says to use it should only be used for the following elements: interactive elements, landmark elements, elements that have an explicit widget role, iframe, and image elements. So I think in this case, these icons are landmark elements, right? They're, it's kind of a landmark saying this is an incoming shipment, this is an outgoing shipment. They communicate information, but they're not interactive. So I think ARIA label is the right case here, and it seems fine to put it on the wrapper, as long as we do aria hidden true, like you've done.
Perfect.
Cool. Definitely a good catch. This is super important stuff, and just like any other sort of debugging, sometimes you gotta wade into the docs and figure out how it works.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's one icon as good as done.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna align these a little better. No idea if automatic alignment works in Gitpod, so I'm just gonna go with tabs.
Do it manually. Yeah.
Cool. So that's the incoming one, and I guess we can do the same for the outgoing one, where we can take this as a basis. Get over.
And I'll go ahead and add that outgoing shipment, or do you want to switch screen shares and I can show people how we're using Contentful here?
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Fun.
Let me finish this icon and then we'll switch to you.
Sounds good.
So that
let's get the function set up here, and then we can add it to confirm that it works for outgoing shipments. Makes sense.
Sounds good. So I'm adding here the right pointing arrow. That would be inline block. Label will be outgoing. If I could spell that correctly. There we go. Area hidden true. So we're not going to see any of those, of course, but we'll see it when we switch to you. So the next one, the last one will be the internal transfer one, which will be a little trickier to icon for. I was thinking truck with two arrows pointing in.
Pointing in, yeah. Kind of just combine the two icons to show it left and returned. It's within the same country. That makes sense.
Cool. That should be easy because we have all of that set up already. So that's the left icon here. So unless I'm mistaken, we should be good to. Oh, no. Forgot. Internal. How am I so bad at remembering the name? Is it shipment?
Transfer. Yeah, it's a type of shipment. And we just made that up. Maybe there's a better word, way to phrase that.
No, it's. Oh, that looks great. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Cool.
Okay.
Brilliant. Then I will go ahead and commit this real quick, and then we'll switch over to you.
Sounds good.
I think this is good place to commit. My shortcuts are showing up. So we've got a feature. Use SVG icons for categories.
Yeah. And maybe in the commit message there, let's definitely highlight, that we made sure to check the accessibility of these icons. So if other developers are reading it and, kind of to catch up with the speed on the code base or in the code review, it's just another reminder to check that stuff in their own work and an acknowledgement that we're thinking about it, and they should explicitly review that part of our work as well.
Yeah. What do you think about this? Add SVG icons for categories with added accessibility.
Yep, that sounds great.
Perfect. Great. Pushed and passing it to you now.
Awesome.
Very excited to see the Contentful backend in action.
Yeah, we've been using this a lot behind the scenes, but time to show it off to everyone. So I'm not going to do the full deep dive here in the interest of time, but let's go ahead and can you all see Contentful on my screen right now?
They'll be able to in just a second. There we go.
Sweet. So just a quick highlight. We're showing our shipments. This is the model behind them. So every shipment gets a name, that generates a slug, it gets a delivered on date, the route, where it's going, where it's coming from, where it's going to, which aid groups were involved, how many pickups or drop-offs, the shipment stats, things like that. We could easily add additional fields. We can change the settings like validation and stuff. And so this is great because it allows our operations people, it's understandable, right? This is a web interface for defining a model. So our dev team can make changes here. Our operations people can make changes here. They can meet in the middle and discuss it. Really fast for prototyping. Obviously, once there's real data entered, then if there's any destructive actions, like you want to delete a field or change a field to a different type or something, please communicate with each other. But super easy to add a new field, for example, if we wanted to start tracking, say, a different type of stat on our shipments, we can just add that in and go back and fill out the data for the existing shipments later on. So what we're going to do right now, go to the content, and you can see all of the shipments that we've been talking about. Like there's the Greece to Netherlands one right there. We're going to go ahead and add a new shipment. So this loads up. Let's call this one, this is going to Serbia from Greece. It is masks, and it's happening in August 2020. We're not going to enter a delivered on date yet, which might be a good indicator later on in the UI that this is in progress, or we could add a field to explicitly have the shipment status. If we wanted to start previewing shipments that are coming up or in progress. We do know the route though. So this is really cool. We can link the shipment to other things like routes. If it's set up, oh, it wants me to create a new one, which I don't want to do right now. So maybe we don't have routes set up, but we can certainly, what we're using in the code is the from subregion, which would be Athens. There we go. And the to subregion, which would be Serbia.
And Serbia is a so there's a sub-region and a region for Serbia.
Exactly. So for our purposes, we consider Serbia, the region is the Balkans, which encompasses Serbia and Bosnia. They're both outside of the EU. They have similar import-export requirements and other considerations. So those two countries look really similar for shipping. And the region was Serbia for us, and then the sub-region would be like Serbia or Bosnia. In the future, if we start doing more volume, if there's specific places in these regions where it makes sense to kind of break that down further, then we might do the subregion as, you know, Subotica, Serbia, where I was visiting that project last week, and Belgrade, Serbia, for example. But for right now, we don't have enough volume to really have it make sense to separate it out to that level.
Gotcha.
I'm going to skip the sending and receiving hubs since I'm not sure if we have the data for that entered yet. Same thing with the, maybe we can add. Yeah. Okay. So I can go ahead and insert the collection group that received and has this donation. I know that the Serbian Red Cross is not entered in here. And then it's going to be a simple point-to-point, one pickup, one drop-off. I believe these masks are going for like $9.95 online. So what is 144,000 times $9.95? That is a big number.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now that's the commercial, kind of the retail value. There's lots of
Sure.
different ways to measure value here, and this is a bit of a vanity stat that I'm entering. We might make that more realistic by doing a GDP comparison analysis. Or a comparable product? What would this cost for someone to buy in Serbia for a reusable cloth mask, right? Because we want to represent the actual impact of this stuff. And I don't have the distance, weight, or CO2 yet. The shipment hasn't gone off, so I'm going to leave those for now. Let's go ahead and publish it.
Cool.
Publish it anyways. Great. So what happens now for our production instance? This would call a webhook to Netlify to restart the build process and incorporate this information. And then a live version of our site would be published. In this case, Ramon, I'm going to stop screen sharing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think all you need to do is restart the server. And when you restart that dev server, Control-C out, and then boot it back up again, it'll pull in the new content from Contentful.
Wow, that's exciting. Let's do it. So, shut down server. Thought I pressed up, but I guess it's happening. Yarn dev.
Yarn dev, yep.
So that's loading. Ignore this. Right. So what that's going to do is when we pull the data now, it'll have that new shipment in there.
Exactly.
That is exciting. It's amazing how fast and easy that was with using these services together to really like allow you to modularize your workflow.
And I like it because it makes it happen in parallel. I could be doing that and entering data at the same time that you're coding it up and making changes, and we can show each other what we're doing. And rather than having to build out a back end and then get someone to enter the data in the database and then build out the front end, it's like we can just do it in parallel, which makes it twice as fast because we don't have to wait for each other, but even faster because we can collaborate through the process and problem solve together.
Oh, that's brilliant. And there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
So that's all working, which is fantastic. We've got incoming, outgoing, and internal transfers. Great. So I really like the sound of what you said earlier, because now we've got these. No, this is right. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. We've got these chunky icons now.
And they're taking up a lot of space at the top, right? We've extrapolated them so it's not clogging up the rest of our component there, but we have a function, we have data, and we have JSX. That sounds like another component to me.
Totally. And so I'm with you. Let's do this. So I guess we could start in components. Aha! And there's an icons folder.
Yeah.
So we got a cog icon, a package icon. Aha! Yeah, and this looks pretty similar to what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. That seems like a great place. And maybe we can even put some logic into it, right? We can keep that logic where it chooses the right type of icon given a shipment. So we don't need 3 different components and have to repeat that logic elsewhere. Yeah. Should we call this like the shipment category icon, and it just puts the right thing there?
Yep, makes sense to me. Then we will need to declare. What do we need to declare? We don't actually need to worry about any of this. We would need. I'm gonna be lazy and just copy and export this React function package icon. Yeah, it's a function.
So we probably need the import at the top as well.
Yeah. Yep. You are absolutely right. Perfect. And we'll call this, instead of package icon, we'll call it shipment category icon. Perfect. Then we would need, what do we need? As a prop, we'd probably need the,
Let's take a look at the page we're working on there, because we have some TypeScript, and the props are just going to be what we're passing to our current function, right? So we might already define those and the TypeScript kind of types. There we go.
yeah, we've got is outgoing, is incoming, and then we've got these three cases.
I would almost say at line 18 there, we have this function categorize shipment. Should we just make that the props, where we're passing in a shipment and a region, and based on that data, it's choosing the different icon and kind of doing the categorization and then returning the right icon for that?
Yeah, makes sense. Let's do that. So we would need, what will we need? I guess we'd need to take this whole thing
Mm-hmm.
and move it over.
I think that's pretty much what we want. We kind of already wrote most of the component here, and we're just trying to give it a good home where it's reusable and not in our way.
Brilliant. So that's my mistake for, yeah, defining a function inside a function, which we don't really want to do. So what we want to do here in props, can I hoist the shipment and the region? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We can add some type information probably.
Yeah. Good point. This is a mess. We'll clean it up.
I think we. Yeah, I think we're good.
All destructured elements are unused. Property shipment does not exist in type.
Right.
Aha.
Okay. Because we're that function component, we just want that to be like a JavaScript object or something.
This one here?
Look. Yeah. So right
Yeah.
now we're saying we're passing in an SVG props into that, and we probably just want to pass in normal like JSON style props into that.
Right. So can I replace this with T to make it any? This is my Java showing. I'm not sure how this works.
Maybe just any.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Looks good.
Okay.
So what's going on here? Expression expected. Ah, forgot this. No value skips.
Oh, I think you need to get rid of the open parenthesis there, right? Because that's indicating you're just returning a single JSX element, and we actually want to have a function with some logic and then return that.
This one, which one?
Just left to your cursor. If you move your cursor one left and delete that parenthesis, and then delete the line at the bottom.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep, and then
So
add a closing bracket there. Yep.
Perfect.
That looks a lot better.
Oh, that looks great. Yeah.
Right
So we
on.
still need. Oh, that looks like.
This should work. Yeah.
Nice.
I want to see if we can add some type data, because we had a little bit more typing in the previous one. We said for the shipment, let's make that any, but the region was specifically a contentful geo region, because we're just pulling all of that out from contentful.
I do this.
Yeah.
Now we need that type. No, go here. Just gonna undo. Look up the type. We'll also need to import that type from somewhere, I believe. What?
I think probably just because we don't have the import set up, maybe.
Cannot find element shipment. It would appear I'm doing this completely wrong.
Probably just a space issue. There's got to be a space before or after
yeah.
the colon or something.
Makes sense. Cannot find name shipment. Maybe the hoisting doesn't work this way. Maybe what?
I think it should, because that looks exactly like what we were doing in the previous file. Let's just go back and walk through it together. So at the top there we go. So line 18, we open a function, and then it's shipment : any region : contentful data georegion.
I think the difference here is that these are two separate parameters.
Oh, I gotcha.
Whereas here it's one parameter, which is props, which will have a shipment and a region.
Right. The colon's in the opposite place here, though. So let's try. Let's try it the other way. That might help. It might also be the import or something like that. Sometimes when I use what's this? Microsoft Visual Studio, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
It does like to be a bit aggressive with saying something won't work, but if I run it, it does work. So we'll have to see. Let's definitely add that import, though. That's going to be required for the contentful data georegion.
Yes. That will come one level up. Types, and we're going two levels up to components to types. So here, we will need only the contentful data region. I think this can be a one-liner.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I'm just not sure about this part. I wonder if we can just go ahead and have props here, and then define const shipment, and then define the type here, which is any, the props shipment.
That seems happy. And then same thing, const region.
If I knew how to spell this, would it be even better? There we go.
There we go.
Nice. Okay, that makes it work.
Sweet.
So we can go back to region page now. Why is this not happy now? Did I? All I did was copy. I'll go with your sage advice of like.
Sometimes tools are trying to be helpful, and we live in a complex world.
So we'll import shipment category icon from, and we'll go. Wow! I did not know you could navigate like this.
Oh, that's very helpful.
Components, icons. Oh, that's so helpful. Nice.
Sweet.
Great. So the last thing to do in that case is this, which is JSX. No, wait a minute. We don't actually have to.
I don't think do we need to add the category here.
Yeah.
Or just push it to the accumulator, and then right there, when we'll just have a call to the shipment category icon component in line in the JSX, right?
Exactly. So exactly here. So instead of this, we'll just have shipment category So the props will be shipment equals JavaScript shipment, and then region is equals to region. So there's a lot of stuff here. Let's have a look at the errors. Expected corresponding JSX closing tag for aha.
Oh, you need the self-closing slash or something at the end of that.
That's right. I've gone too far. Here.
Nice.
Looks good.
Seems to have worked. Yeah.
Categorize shipment is not defined. Of course, we're not using that
Because we
function
removed
anymore.
the function. Yeah.
So we can actually remove all of this.
Yeah. We just need to push it to the accumulator. So that's really handy. That separates our concerns. This the reducer function that we wrote there only focuses on filtering out duplicate shipments from a couple of different data sources. And then the new icon component that we made only focuses on showing the right icon depending on the category of shipment. Nice.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So we can go ahead and refresh. There we go. There's our icons.
Good.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. That I'm very happy with this.
That's amazing.
This is awesome. Like I love extracting components. It always brings a smile to my face.
Mm-hmm.
And they're accessible, and this is fantastic.
Reusable, exactly.
Yeah.
One thing, so looking at this here, would it make sense to align the icons so the truck is always in the middle and then the arrows are always kind of on the consistent side? Like for that, it's a little bit hard if the arrow just flips on that outgoing shipment to notice that necessarily. Yeah. And so if we put the outgoing shipment on the other side, right, and the truck's line in the middle, then that white space will help show the difference. It'll be the arrows on the left, the right, or both of them.
Yeah, I like that. And flip. No.
Yeah, I would just put that arrow on the other side of the truck right there for the outgoing, like it is on the internal transfers one.
Good call. So is outgoing, move this second SVG be above the initial one. So that's already
awesome.
And then we need some kind of empty one, right?
Or could we just center, an empty one, or could we just center everything on the truck or add some left padding or something?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Something like, just gonna try that here. I always mess around here in the I think ML1.
Maybe.
The ML.
You're trying to get like margin left there.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's not a margin I want. I want a padding. 5. Almost. This is super hacky, and I know, but it looks nice.
Yep. Huh? Okay.
So that would be the incoming one. Class name equals PL6. Right,
and that works really well because we've set the width of the icons to 6. So Tailwind makes sure.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yep.
This is brilliant, Taylor. I love it.
Oh, it's so good because now it's really, you just scan down and you see which half, It's coming in, it's going out, it's both.
I'm super pleased with this. Yeah, nice one. Cool. Let's go ahead and make these commits. And then I think we're on time for today.
Yep, I think that's great.
So we've modified this one and so I will add both of these. This is also a feature, right? Or a chore?
I might call this, it's definitely a feature because we made improvements.
Yeah.
And I don't think refactoring is a chore. I think it's really fun, but maybe we'll call it feature brackets or like parentheses refactor to just indicate.
Refactors one.
Yep. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I'm not very familiar. That's why I wouldn't call it a chore either, because I agree it's super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so what we've done here is extract shipment category icon component, adjust spacing of icons.
Yep.
Spacing and order icons.
Right. Right on.
Great. So that's done.
And I want to point out to the audience, we've been working on this for 3 CodeC sessions, maybe 4, right? So even though we're doing this week by week, we're doing it for an hour each week. So in kind of real world work terms, we would have gotten all of this done together, from the shipments listing and filtering to the icon display. That's about a half day's worth of work. Yeah. Now there's a lot of space in between our sessions, but just like to keep things in context, for folks trying to apply this sort of stuff in those work environments, right?
Yeah, not bad, I have to say.
Yeah.
I'm super happy.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I think we can go ahead and wrap up for the day. One thing I'll do before we go is just bring everybody's attentions once again to the
Watch good
fundraiser. Yeah. Let's
seriously, y'all. We just need number of donors. $1 helps, and let's get some more masks unlocked. It's really appreciate any support.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, please do. And thank you all so much for joining us. Taylor, thank you as always. It's such a pleasure, and we'll see you next week.
See y'all next week. Take care. Be safe.
Bye everybody.